Put it off for so long. This is what happens.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. All right, the stream is live. I'm going to take a second here and oh wait, hold on.
For his Facebook page, and it was gone. So
Oh.
he like removed all his social media after that happened.
I can't believe that happened.
Which
That's crazy.
I don't blame Junior for doing that. The son for doing that at all.
Yeah, it was a little controversial. I think the statement in general.
Yeah.
He's gonna sex young women.
I know you get a kick out of that, don't you? Yeah, you're going to be in a Hall of Fame someday, Jay Lee.
Sex young women.
Well, maybe he's planning to go down to South Florida and hit up that that special massage parlor.
Maybe. Okay, I need to put this on the bunker real quick, but I do want to say welcome to all of our streaming friends out there who are watching the show. What up? Word.
Hey.
Hey. D-Mat's having fun this morning.
I'm all right.
So we are going to talk about J.J. Evans. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. And then, I need Jay Lee's thoughts on that. I'm going to post this on the bunker real quick.
Seemed like overall it was a good Junior day, to be honest.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, they get a commit off a good player like that. Hell yeah, right?
By the way, Jay Lee, was that your first time talking to Miles Murphy?
Second.
Is he not one of the most impressive kids you've ever interviewed?
And Jason and I were talking about this. He's an Auburn type guy. You know, he doesn't look. He'll probably end up wherever he wants to go. But I think Auburn's got a very good shot with him. Yes, man. He's one of those guys you pull for no matter where he goes.
Yep.
Real good kid.
I interviewed him at the 5-star camp last summer, I guess it was. Real impressed with him. Still remember that. I don't remember many interviews I've done.
He's a beast.
Yep.
Yeah, he is something. He's really something.
He's something.
He is. He's a big boy, and he's a very smart boy. Now he is the cousin of Dexter Murphy. He's kin to Dexter Murphy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could tell when B-Matt and I were talking to him about it, it wasn't necessarily like, hang out with that guy daily or anything.
Right.
But but it mattered to him. I'm gonna
91. What's the Dexter Murphy 91?
Oh, I don't remember what number he was. It's been a minute.
I think that's right.
You know who I met? You know who I met this weekend?
Who that?
Addison Williams.
Son Auburn is playing Major League. Am
Hold on, B-Mat's breaking up.
Yeah, B-Mat's breaking up.
Uh-oh. I'm playing.
I went and I knew I remembered his name.
Is B-Mat gone completely? I think he's gone completely, and he was on a hard line too. We better hold that story until we get him back. Sorry out there to our streamers. We lost Bryan, but at least we still got me and Jay Lee.
That's right. I see him.
Yeah. I wonder if we're just going to cut him off.
It's like he's exhaling.
He's about to lay one on Yvonne right there. Oh, he's back. Here we go.
I don't know what happened. I'm plugged in. Everything's good. I heard y'all the whole time. Y'all said something about exhaling and about to put something on Yvonne. I heard all that.
Oh, my goodness. B-Mat. All right, so again, J.J. Evans, young man from Montevallo, had a pretty nice offer list, I would say. Alabama, Clemson, that's pretty good. We'll talk about the class, Jay Lee, and you can tell me who's better, J.J. Evans or the young man from LaGrange. Kobe. You don't have to do that, actually. We'll talk about basketball, getting trounced at Kentucky. Jared Harper has 0 assists. I know Bryan was pretty impressed with that. And also, Jared Harper was minus 32 on the plus-minus. It's tough to go lower than minus 32, I'll tell you that.
Woo.
That's stinky. Women's basketball won again. They're 20-7, 8-6 in the league. I just got to mention that a little bit. Their RPI is such that they're going to probably get in the tournament, I would imagine. And softball went 6-0 against a bunch of patsies this year. And they needed a walk-off homer. No, they just needed a homer to beat Troy. A late
10 run. Mercy rule.
No, it was 3-1.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they had to come from behind against Troy. It was Justice Perry.
Oh, way to go, Justice.
Had a 3-run tater.
I thought Tan and Snow hit a 3-run dong to mercy rule somebody. South Dakota State, maybe?
Oh, well, yeah. So they whooped up on South Dakota State, Villanova.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. But when they played Troy, it was a little bit different.
Trojans.
I don't think they're quite there, man. I don't think the softball team is quite where it should be. Hey, looky there. Torqued is online. Thanks for joining the stream, Torqued. One of our most voluminous posters is the guy in the top right, the bully from A Christmas Story. He's talking about you, Jay Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got farts.
He knows right away. Hey, now. Y'all been watching True Detective?
Not yet.
That was a good twist.
Don't. I didn't see it.
I'm not going to say it. I just like how they ended it. Like, I can't say it, but it was good.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, you're a big Game of Thrones guy, right?
I would say so.
Okay,
yeah.
so I've caught up again. I've rewatched it. Why did Stannis think he was the true heir to the throne when he knew about Gendry?
Gendry, who's that?
Gendry is right, the bastard son. Well, I guess because he was Robert's next in line from him, and the bastard son would not be eligible to take the throne because he's a bastard.
Oh, little bastard.
But and the other thing was the Red Woman told him that he was the prince or whatever the saying is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just the one who was going to bring Lightbringer or whatever it was. So
that chick was hot until she wasn't, right?
So she took off her necklace.
Oof, yeah.
She's a little older.
She slung that stuff too.
So have you watched the whole series, Jay Lee?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I just called up.
April 14th.
If you're watching the Oscars last night, Khaleesi did a presentation.
She did.
Really?
Yeah, but she has dark hair. She doesn't have the Khaleesi hair. I know she does. I've seen interviews with her, but she has like auburn hair normally. She's still pretty hot though. I think B-Mat likes her.
Yes, I do.
No?
Mother of Dragons, heck yeah, I like her.
We got another one on JS. We'll leave his last name redacted. He says, I haven't seen JGT's face since a Habatten tailgate meetup in 09-10. Glad to see you again. Glad to have you.
09-010, wow.
Love the Habatten people that come on over. And he also says he's on Team White Walkers, which I am actually on Team White Walkers myself because I have this weird fixation on the Night King. I'm really taken by him, and I don't think he's going to be as bad as people think he is. I think he's going to have I think he's got a point. Like, I don't know what it is, but I don't think he's just randomly trying to kill everybody.
Do you want him to shove his dragon glass inside of you?
Just the tip, man. No, I don't. But
you know, he didn't ask for it. The children stuck him with.
Right.
Exactly, right?
But now he takes the babies and sticks them with it, I think, and turns them into White Walkers.
But he may have a reason that may be justified. I'm just saying. And the big fan theory, I'm sure B-Matt is way ahead of me on this, is that these direwolves, well, there's only 2 left, but specifically Arya's direwolf is going to factor into what's going on here in the future. Because
be part of the wolf army.
Something's going to have to slow these White Walkers down, and I don't really necessarily see anything in the current cadre.
There's also a theory that Melisandre is going to bring a red, like a army from Volantis, where she's going.
Who's this?
That's another theory. The red woman, Melisandre.
Oh, she's still in play?
Yes, she told Varys that she would be back, and because she has to die there, that her and him both have to die there. That's the last thing she said before she left Volantis. I think it was Volantis.
I just wrote her off as just some crazy ass chick. I don't know.
Nope, she's coming back.
All right, well maybe she'll be helpful. I don't know. I don't like her though. I like the White Walker. Dude, do you remember when the King of Darkness or whatever, the king, I forgot his name and I just used it. Night King. Dude, Night King could have killed Jon Snow already. When he was right up on that mount and watched him cut the White Walker in half with the homie's sword. He could have jumped right down there and gone at it right there, but he didn't. And he could have gotten him at Hardhome too, again later, and he didn't. I think he wants to steer clear of him for whatever reason. You think it's because he might be a Snow? Well, not a Snow, but kin to the Winterfell people? Who knows? We're getting in the weeds here, B-Man.
He's a Targaryen, right?
You talking about the Night King?
No, Jon Snow.
Yes, he is.
Aegon. You think the Night King might be a Stark?
Well, we know he was on the good team to start with. We know that. Bryan can confirm that. He was protecting the good guys. Remember that? The Night King started as
the Night King?
Yeah, he started as a nice guy. He was defending the kids.
They turned him into it, right. And they turned him into one because they wanted to fight the humans.
Yeah.
That were destroying the forest.
Yeah, people do that sometimes. Women's basketball, again, 20-7 overall. They beat Missouri, which is a good win for them at home. They still got to play South Carolina at home Thursday, which is going to be a tough one. And then they're at LSU to close the regular season on Sunday. 54th in the RPI for them, but that does not take into account the Missouri win. I imagine they'll bump up to like 45. Again, softball 6-0 in the Tiger Invitational. And then baseball goes 2 wins at Central Florida, but gave up a lot of runs, B-Man. Would you agree?
Well, Tanner pitched well in the opening game. They won 4-1. Sunday's game was a typical Sunday SEC type game.
Yeah.
I think the final was 13-9. A lot of big hits. Auburn had 3 home runs. UCF had 4. The wind was blowing out, so I wouldn't take too much from that. The one thing I would take from that Sunday game is that, when they were challenged and when they had to step up and hit the ball and win the game that way, they did it. So I thought that was good.
Well, that's good. Central Florida used to be good. I don't know if they're good now. They got a quarterback.
I don't know how good they are either. Butch, when he set up the series, he wanted to test his team on the road early against a NCAA tournament team. So that's what he thinks they are or thought they would be. And, afterwards, I think he said that he thought they were a good team. So,
okay. I would be surprised if he said he didn't think they were good.
Oh, I know.
So
coaches say things like that.
So they get the series split. Well, whatever, they won it, but they went 2-1 against Georgia Southern, and they go 2-1 against UCF, and then they damaged Alabama A&M pretty badly. But Are your projections more or less on par now with what you thought they would be?
Yeah, I think they're a super regional team, and if they really get hot and get it going, maybe a College World Series team. We'll see.
If Davis Daniel comes back in a month or something, and he's got back to his usual, then they might have something there.
Talent-wise, they're really good. They've got 18 newcomers on the team, so sometimes it takes a while for those guys to fit in, and they're going to have to rely on a lot of freshman pitchers, and you just don't know how they're going to, be that first year. So,
that's what it was like for Jeffrey Lee back in the day. He's a newcomer, and it took him a while to get his stick going, but he's fine.
That's true. Are we still? Are we doing this?
Yeah. You ready to start?
Have we not started?
Well, the stream started, but the show hasn't. Do you have any shout-outs? Any of you, either of you two?
I do.
Okay. Jay Lee, I know you want to give Keller Dog one.
Shit. I want to give a shout out to all the snowflake vaginas.
Keller Dog tried to blame everybody else for him, what he got in trouble for. And I also handed out like a play ban to Stretch Armstrong the other day. Like, it was just kind of for fun, and he was not happy about it. Some people can take like a playful short banding well, and some people can't. So
he takes his spotless record seriously.
It wasn't even I put it in the notes that it was a fake ban. War Eagle JF says, thoughts on the AAF. Jeffrey, I'll go straight to you since you're our expert. Your thoughts on how things are unfolding in the AAF world.
I love it, man.
You love the Iron, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I had a feeling you would.
Beniquez Brown had a big game yesterday for the Iron. Remember the in-state kid? I think he ended up going to Mississippi State. Auburn didn't like him enough. But I believe Philip Lawley loved him.
Yeah,
What's so funny?
He's pretty good.
He was, man.
Well, Philip Lawley's usually right. He also liked the cornerback from just south of here that ended up playing for the Ravens for 7 or 8 years. Been a really good player.
You know, I was going to actually get thinking about, you said Gene Chizik to the XFL.
Yeah.
I thought DC, Philip Lawley. But Philip is the DC up in Saskatchewan, I believe. I don't know if the money would be enough to get him out of there, but to reunite with Chizik, I'd be interested to see if Philip Lawley doesn't end up on that staff, if we see that come to fruition.
I did mention that on the bunker. Thanks for bringing that up, Jay Lee, about how Chizik has been offered a job in the XFL. I believe it's either coordinator or head coach. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be with the Houston franchise. And we got that confirmed through 2 sources. So one of them was not Chizik. So I don't really hang out with Chizik as much, maybe. Yeah.
Can't believe that.
He and I got into it a few times. I don't think he cares, really.
If he does, you'll be the first one to know.
There is no doubt. You know what's funny is when you said that the other day, I was like, oh, okay. Wait a minute, he's just messing with me. Because, I mean, it was totally plausible he would say that. All right, we'll go ahead and start the show. Unless you have anything else you want to add.
Nah.
Jeffrey, it's great to have you here on the show.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here.
Talk about recruiting and other things. Anything you want to opine on outside of the recruiting stuff? Like baseball, basketball, women's basketball, softball?
Maybe I'll jump in there on some basketball stuff.
All right. Did you watch it? And
I did.
It was a mess, wasn't it?
I was embarrassed for that.
Jared Harper, 0 assists in a game. Surprisingly, not the first time that's happened.
He's hit or miss, man.
That's a very nice way to put it, Jay Lee. You must be a nice guy. Hi-yo! Hello again, and welcome to the AuburnSports.com rundown presented by Voodoo Wing Company. This right here, this very show is your favorite podcast for all things Auburn. Today is February 25th in the year of 2019. This is episode number 372 of this fine program, and we are currently 2 days away from Auburn's encounter with the hated Bulldogs of University of Georgia. That game will go down 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock over there. If you're in Athens, that is a ridiculous time for a basketball game team really to start. That's going to be on ESPNU again Wednesday in what I call the Jacuzzi, because that's what it was when I went over there for the very first time in the 90s, but that is actually Stegeman Coliseum. And that's a game that Auburn's got to perform well in because they certainly didn't earlier in the week. Well, I guess during the weekend. My name is Jay Tate. I am publisher of AuburnSports.com, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Bryan Matthews, capital B, capital M, our ace team reporter, and a man that everyone from Westeros to everywhere else knows is a doer of many things. What up, B-Matt?
Hello. I had a big weekend of doing lawn work this weekend. So
yeah, you were.
That's my exciting thing to tell.
You were trimming.
I was trimming the hedges.
You were trimming the hedges.
I was. Yes.
You're well trimmed, cropped, as some would say.
Yes.
Groomed,
kept,
escaped.
We're already off to a bad start.
And we're also joined by Mr. Jeffrey Lee, capital J, capital L. I don't usually do that for you, but I will say this. Jeffrey Lee is a man who always surveys the recruiting landscape with remarkable aplomb and other things. Jay Lee, word.
How about you, buddy?
Well, I'm just glad to have you here, bro.
Well, I'm glad to be here, man.
Yes, a busy day of recruiting yesterday. We want to make sure we had you on the horn for that, including a commitment from an in-state player. Thought that was pretty good. Before we get chatting about the Auburn news, and we have plenty today, we have recruiting, a little basketball chatter, although the Auburn fans who watched that game against Kentucky probably don't have anything nice to say on that one. Yay. Baseball, women's basketball, and softball, plus some shout-outs there at the end, and there was some funny stuff on the board. JF, who is watching this on the stream, says, hopefully Wolk is catching some quality Z's, and we can only hope that Ben's probably asleep in dreamland.
Getting his beauty sleep, yep.
Getting his beauty sleep for that long, luscious hair he has. Bryan loves those locks, and you wish you had some like that.
I do. We all do, actually.
I want to say, yeah, Jeffrey Lee too. I want to say that the rundown and all of our shows are presented by Voodoo Wing Company, which is a great place to go for wings in Auburn. In fact, it was recently voted, as Brian Matthews was there to attest, and Jeffrey Lee, that it was the top voted wings in all of Auburn, Opelika. And they deserve that because the wings are delicious. And the thing is, you can get the traditional wings, you can get the boneless wings. Jeffrey likes it both ways, but you can get all the sauces. See, for instance, I like the Cajun Ranch. Brian Matthews likes the Voodoo. Jeffrey Lee likes the hot. And Ben Wolk just does whatever he wants to do. So you can go there and have such a different, delicious experience every time you go. And it never gets old. The food's piping hot. The folks are really cool. It's extremely clean. And we think it's great value for the money. How do you feel about that? Brian, tell me.
I always feel good about it.
Tell me your favorite thing about Voodoo Wing Company.
Probably the Nana Pudding.
Nana Pudding to finish it off. Jeffrey Lee?
I like the wings. Sweet tea is good. And I like the key lime pie there at the end.
I like Marge, too, that she always has our drinks ready when we walk in the door.
For sure, man.
Well, I can't say that everyone's going to have that happen, Brian, so.
Well.
I don't think she's a mind reader.
You asked him what he likes.
They also have a reward program now in place.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you spend $50, you get, a point per dollar. And once you hit 50 points, you get a, like a little coupon. A little bit of money off on already great value for those wings. I want to let you guys know that the Voodoo Wing Company, the one in Auburn anyway, is on College Street, 0.3 of a mile north of the interstate, just north of where the Supper Club once stood, where Jeffrey Lee was once pitched in a garbage can, and he damn well deserved it.
It happened.
If you're in Vegas, they also have 2 spots, although they are well off the strip, so you're going to be hanging with the common folk out there if you want to try to find Voodoo in Vegas. And they will be opening a new store here shortly. And I better not say exactly where that is because, I don't know, it could be a secret. I don't want to spoil it. You can check them out on the internet at voodoowingco.com. JF says again, will BMAT issue a public apology for daring to be optimistic regarding Saturday's game at Kentucky? Brian Matthews unwisely thought that Auburn might have a shot to win that game.
Yeah, I got a lot of crow to eat for that one.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and eat it now, Brian?
Well, I'll just say that I was drinking heavily that day and didn't know what I was saying.
I don't know if that's true, Brian. You're not a big drinker.
That's true.
I've known you a long time, and I've seen you drunk once.
Well, I've just, yeah. They just, they didn't play well.
No, they didn't play well. Yeah. Kentucky's pretty good.
Kentucky played really well. Kentucky played up to their potential and just really, really played well.
Yeah.
And I think when Auburn matches up against good teams like Kentucky, which had length on the perimeter, those teams have figured Auburn out. And Auburn just has almost no chance against those type of teams right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't adapt more. I mean, when they take either Bryce or Jared out, or both in Kentucky's case, there's got to be somebody else that could become a playmaker. I thought it would be Samir, but he doesn't really do that. So they just kind of get suffocated and you're done. And I guess against the good teams that are all going to have players like the ones Brian described, it's going to be a problem. But we're going to start today with football recruiting because Auburn landed a commitment for its class of 2020 stash yesterday. A young man by the name of J.J. Evans, a wide receiver from Montevallo High School in Montevallo, Alabama. Jeffrey Lee spoke to him yesterday. And when you spoke to him in the morning time or late morning, he was like, I'm going to be committing pretty soon, I think, maybe. And then he committed like 6 hours later. Tell me about that, Jay Lee.
I love recruits like that. They give you kind of a heads up of what's coming.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to come this soon. As soon as it did, he was there Saturday. He spent the night, stayed Sunday, and then when he left is when he made his commitment. But he spent a lot of time with Cody Burns. I know I saw him with Cody a lot. Definitely, you take a look at the 2 guys they've got committed right now at wide receiver, and Kobe Hudson and J.J. Evans is Kobe's one of the top wide receivers in Georgia, JJ in the top wide receivers in Alabama. Both had big-time offers. Kobe still taking visits, but seems to be committed to Auburn fairly solidly. But JJ, when you beat out Alabama and you beat out Clemson for a receiver, you're doing something right. And so I thought it was a big get for Auburn, and kind of sets the stage for the remainder of the recruiting season to kind of be more selective there at wide receiver. You've got E.J. Williams from Phoenix City, Central Phoenix City down the road. He came in Friday for a visit. Clemson's in that one as well. Justin Ross at Clemson, that might be tough to get him, but the relationship's been there. He grew up an Auburn fan, so he'll certainly be one to watch. But he's not in any hurry. But I thought to get Kobe Hudson, to get J.J. Evans, that's and J.J. Evans being that outside guy, kind of in place of what George Pickens would have been doing. So I'll be following both of their careers to see. It'd be interesting to see how that kind of pans out.
One of the things, J.J. Evans comes from an Auburn family, am I right?
Yes, his mother, yes.
Yeah. B-Man, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just watching J.J. Evans' films, he looks like a number one SEC receiver to me. I mean, the things he does after the catch, to me, is just amazing. I mean, I know Montevallo may not play the best competition, but still, he's pretty impressive once he gets the ball in his hands. I mean, he can do it all. And, he's got the size, the speed, points the ball, got a good catch radius, it looks like. I mean, he just looks like everything you want out of a receiver. I'm just really impressed with this pickup.
Real good kid, too, man. Just speaking to him, he's a big-time addition. I think 6'3", 185. I think Chad Simmons came on the board and said he was still growing, still kind of filling out his frame. But I think he'll be really good at Auburn.
That's pretty big. He's good.
Jeff is right about him and Kobe. Whew, what a pair.
18 touchdowns last year as a junior.
Is it one of the better pairs you've seen, Bryan?
Of receivers to sign with Auburn, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If they both end up signing, yeah, that would be.
All right, I'm going to take on the position, devil's advocate here, of bunker haters that are going to say, you all are just saying that because George Pickens didn't choose Auburn. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I thought George Pickens was a hell of a receiver too. So
I don't know if J.J. Evans is as good as George Pickens, but I know if you're going to lose George Pickens, you're going to need to replace him with somebody very good, and that's exactly what J.J. Evans is. If you can't have George Pickens, you definitely want to have J.J. Evans.
Got you on that.
And in the classroom, off the field, I think Auburn's going to come out on top here.
All right. One thing I also want to mention, Jeffrey, we hadn't had you on in a couple weeks. Avery Jernigan, who's a young man who committed probably, I guess, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I think the bunker was a little skeptical of him when he committed. They were like, I mean, he's not necessarily the most formidable-looking dude, I guess, when you look at him. But he has since shown some stuff on social media where he's lifting a lot of weight. He's very strong, and he's balled out at least one camp, the one in Valdosta he went crazy at. And it's starting to look like that might be a really nice pickup, that he's just kind of getting into his best life, so to speak. Tell me what your thoughts on Avery Jernigan at this point.
Love him. Love his lower body strength. You saw him, I think he was power cleaning 350 pounds or something like that. Love him. He's 18 years old, which I talked to him Saturday, which is extremely old for a senior. So he's more mature physically. And then you see what he's doing for Auburn off the field with helping with Trey Zimmerman. He's a guy you get in early, helps recruit, especially for an offensive line. When offensive line is such a need this year, you're going to need a guy like him, or it's going to help to have a guy like him. And we could see the fruits of his labor pay off maybe this weekend, this coming up weekend. Trey Zimmerman, the offensive tackle from Roswell, visited Saturday, came in with his grandparents, spent a lot of time with Avery. Avery's working on him. I think his quote was, we're going to get him. Avery's extremely positive, or he feels good, confident that Auburn will get Zimmerman, which is a huge. Auburn needs some tackles. And,
yeah,
I think Zimmerman's coming back this weekend. North Carolina, Duke, Georgia Tech, real smart kid, and academics is important to him. But so is playing in the SEC, and I think Auburn's going to be able to win out with him if he can, especially if he returns this weekend. But yeah, Avery Jernigan, man, you can't go wrong with a kid like him. Can play center, could play guard, either of the two guard spots. Smart kid, loves Auburn. Is going to promote Auburn. Is going to recruit for Auburn. No, yeah, he's just I will be shocked if he's still a 3-star by the time signing day rolls around.
Yeah, he seems pretty aggressive, particularly with his finishes.
He's a badass.
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, if you can get a badass and they say, well, it's not a tackle, man. Auburn needs tackles. Well, you need guards and center too. And if he's going to be a growler, somebody goes in there and bites people, metaphorically, I think that's good.
Ben Grubbs.
Yeah, Ben Grubbs was like that. He was a biter. Our guy, come on, man, from Spanish Fort, Reese Dismukes.
Reese.
He would get nasty too. He would say mean things, and he could really shut a man down. Sorry if you're watching, Reese. I didn't forget who you were. I promise. I also want to mention that Brian Matthews kind of off the train, though. Remember we were in Baltimore, and we were at that camp? I think Jeffrey had just come on or was about to come on. It's been years ago. And we were watching Trey Lamar. We were watching Devin Bush. And we were watching Mac Wilson. And we were like, dude, those kids are really good.
Yeah.
They're the top 3 linebackers available in the draft this year.
And that defensive line group was incredible there, too, if you think about it.
Yeah. Dexter Lawrence was there. Yep. Clayton Farrell was there. Rashawn Gary was there. Man, that was loaded. Nick Coe was there, too.
Yep.
He may end up joining those guys at some point here for too long.
That was the time that he told me that Auburn was his favorite, I think. And then 5 minutes later, he told somebody else that somebody else was his favorite. So
North Carolina.
Yeah.
We were just like, who's Nick Coe? This kid says that Auburn's his favorite, and we don't know who he is. You're like, oh, okay. He has kind of he had long arms and legs, stuff like that. I guess he still does.
You know, J.J. Evans
2,
3, 4 was the 4th commitment this month in the last 3 weeks.
No kidding.
Yeah. Daniel Foster Allen, defensive end from Mobile. Avery Jernigan, Jonathan Buskey, a big junior college offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And then Evans, 4 commitments in the last 3 weeks. Auburn is up to 7 commitments, which is ranked number 9 class in the country. And Jonathan Buskey is yet to receive a ranking. So off to a good start, man. 2 offensive linemen, maybe a Trey Zimmerman coming next. Good start. And don't forget, Auburn has already lost 2 commitments in the 2020 class. They lost Andy Boykin, Kobe Hudson's teammate, and they lost Quindarius Robinson, the linebacker defensive end from JO.
Still could get one or both of those guys back.
Sure.
I would say at least one of them.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. All right, we'll move on from football recruiting. Obviously, a lot going on there. We'll go to basketball. Not as much going on there. Auburn lost at Kentucky by a final tally of 80-53. And outside of the first, let's say, 8 minutes, it was an absolute disaster for Auburn. They made it close a little bit, I guess, there in the middle of the first half. They closed it out on a 7-0 run for Kentucky. And the second half was just a landslide of messiness for Pearl and the boys. Things were not looking good, Brian Matthews. I did want to mention before I give you an opportunity to talk about this mess that you did not see coming, by the way. No. Jared Harper finished with 12 points, 0 assists, 3 turnovers. And that was not the first game of his life or college career where he's had 0 assists, believe it or not. But it was 2 years.
It happened against South Carolina as a freshman, at South Carolina. So,
and if you guys are big into plus-minus, which is an examination of how the team does when you're on the floor. So if you're on the floor and you score 6 and the other team scores 0, that's a +6. He was -32 against Kentucky.
Damn.
So basically every minute he was on the floor, Auburn was losing. Brian, your thoughts on that performance and what it means going forward, I guess.
I'm pretty concerned about the way they played up there. I mean, I felt like this team, you saw Bruce in the opening of the show tell his team for the game that, if they want to compete for a national championship, this is where you make your statement. And they went out and made a statement that they're not close to being ready to compete for a national championship, which, it's fine. I think it's still a good team. My concern is this game coming up at Georgia. Georgia has not quit, even though they have a bad record.
Yeah.
They lost by 1 point to Mississippi State. They lost by 1 point to Ole Miss. And you got to feel like they are just feel like they're so close to getting a big win. And Auburn could be the team that they could, Auburn beating by 15 at home, but this is going to be a different deal for Auburn. Auburn better come ready to play.
Yeah, Bruce was saying a couple weeks ago, we don't win when Jared Harper plays poorly. And I kind of wrote it off like, come on, man, one guy and it's Jared. I mean, because Jared's not like Michael Jordan or anything like that. But the truth is, Brian, the longer we see this go on, the longer we look back at the games where they really stink, the thing that's always in common is that Jared has a bad game.
Yeah, and teams I think have Auburn figured out, and the teams that can really do something about it are the teams with a lot of talent and they have that length at guard. And if Auburn goes up against a good team like that, whether it's the rest of the SEC season or the tournament or whatever, they're just going to have a hard time, finding a way to unlock that.
Yeah, Ashton Hagans, the point guard at University of Kentucky, was all over
really
Jared.
Good.
So what they were doing was they were pressuring point guard right over the 50-yard line, right over midcourt. And then they were also overplaying the first wing pass. So that was generally Bryce, but sometimes it was Malik or Samir, depending on who was in the game. But so they were pressuring that first pass. And, man, that right there was enough to just throw Auburn totally off as far as rhythm goes, and then they didn't shoot well. And I did think in the first half, Brian, they had some good shots. They weren't hitting. But, man, at some point, the whole thing just started breaking down, and then the shots they were missing really weren't very good anyway. So it was just – Kentucky's really good. And there was a feeling on the bunker that Auburn's done, it's over. You can't do that against Kentucky. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really matters. You watch the fallout from that game, KenPom.com, if you're into that kind of thing. Auburn retained its number 14 rating in his matrix. So a loss at Kentucky. Kentucky's probably the hottest team in the country right now. I mean, it's not awful. But at the same time, Brian, like you said, just to watch that performance and think the head coach thought he could win that game?
Right. This is an NCAA tournament team. It'll be the back-to-back NCAA tournament teams for the first time since 99, 2000, something like that, I think.
Sounds right.
But it's not a national championship contending team. No. I mean, Auburn fans just need to be excited for what they have, what Bruce Pearl's done for this program. He's brought it back from the depths of the very bottom of the SEC for basically a decade. And he's got one of the best classes in the country coming in next year. So this team is good, and next year's team is going to be good too.
Jeffrey, your thoughts on what happened up there in Lexington?
I can't get over the difference between the team that I saw play in Hawaii and the team that I'm seeing now. And the difference in those two teams, and I can't get over this, man. Are they a better team with Austin Wiley and Denzel Purifoy?
Just in general, you mean?
I just don't think so. I'll give you Purifoy. I don't see how Austin Wiley fits into this team.
He doesn't really.
I think he slows them down. He makes them half-court offense that Auburn is not very good at, or at least that I have seen. But I look back at the first few games of this season, and how fluid, how much chemistry they had, and then you get. I just don't know where that Austin's a good fit.
Well, no, he's not ideal for what they do. I think he would like to have somebody that moves a little more gracefully, maybe in the full court, and somebody who's not hurt all the time. Austin went down again against Kentucky, grabbing his leg again. So we don't know if that's going to be a big setback or what. But that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, he would rather have somebody like Wayne Chisholm, if you remember him back in the Tennessee days.
Yeah.
Or Bobby Portis, who was at Arkansas a few years ago, or Daniel Gafford, who's at Arkansas right now. Those are the kind of guys that Pearl, when he was at his best, those are the kind of centers he had, and that's not Austin Wiley.
But I think Auburn's 2 guys short. They're 2 guys short, even with Purifoy and with Wiley. I don't know if it's Javon. I don't know if it's Samir, Malik. Was Mustafa that big of a loss?
Yeah. He could get you to the
cup.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. Hell yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was a big loss.
I would say he's probably good for 4 or 5 wins this year so far.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. I just Bryan and I have talked about on the show. We underestimated the effect because I thought Samir. We both thought Samir would be able to step into that role and get a bucket when they need to get a bucket, but he hasn't done that. He just doesn't get to the rim very well. It's weird because when he was a freshman at VCU, he did it really well. He was nationally elite at getting to the hole, getting free throws, and hitting free throws. He's a good free throw shooter, but he doesn't get the rim at all now. And I don't know if he's hurt or what. But he cannot get to the rim. He cannot get up. Can't get up. So anyway, and I also want to mention, I know you guys don't want to hear this, but Tony Barbie, the defensive coordinator at UK basketball, hell of a defensive game plan for that game. Locked him down. The guy's a genius. The guy is a strategic genius, and somebody would be very smart to hire him as a head coach.
Totally, completely, and absolutely disagree with that statement. Every bit of it, every vowel, every sentence, every part.
I don't know why. It's the truth.
Give me those players at Kentucky, and I'll be a damn good defensive coordinator too.
JF says he misses Mustafa like Gus misses Nick Marshall. Ouch.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, he was pretty good. Let's move on to baseball. Brian Matthews. They played the Fighting Butch Thompsons were playing at UCF this past weekend. No Mackenzie Milton. But the baseball team is pretty decent. Auburn won 2 of 3, including a slugfest there on Sunday. Your thoughts on the weekend? Just kind of give us an overview of what it meant.
Well, I think you go on the road, you beat a solid team early in the season without your number one starter. That's a good sign for a baseball team. And, they got a lot of first-year players starting, freshmen, pitching. And, they handled some adversity. They lost. They didn't play well Saturday and lost. And they came back Sunday, and the wind's blowing out, and they get into a slugfest. And they step up, and they outslug UCF. And I think that says a little bit about, what type of mentality this team is going to have. They're not going to back down. They're going to keep fighting. And, it was good to see Stephen Williams get his bat going. He got off to a slow start. Will Holland had strep, and he's off to a little slow start, but he started to hit a little bit better here this weekend. So I think this team is going to start hitting its stride here pretty soon.
Let's see. Auburn is 6-2 now. B-Matt.
Yes.
And what do they have coming up?
They're off during the week, and Cincinnati comes in for a 3-game series. Jeremy Johnson, who transferred from Auburn, is at Cincinnati, so it'll be homecoming for him.
Do you think he'll get booed?
No. Jeremy's a great kid. I think everybody that knew him or spoke to him is going to be cheering for him and wanting him to do really good. I'm
going to ignore the obvious jokes about fumbling at LSU and all that stuff because, he's heard it a million times.
Different Jeremy Johnson.
Yeah. Also want to mention women's basketball earned a very big win for them Sunday inside the Auburn Arena, beating Missouri. I believe Missouri was ranked 24th or 25th, won that game 58-54. The Fighting Coach Flows are 20-7 overall, 8-6 in the SEC, and they've got 2 regular season games left at home against South Carolina on Thursday, which is going to be a toughie, and then they're at LSU Sunday, so they need to finish strongly. But they can get in the tournament. Their RPI is currently 54, but that does not take into account the win against Missouri. Also, a quick look at softball. They went 6-0 this weekend at the Tiger Invitational, which was at the Jane. 6-0, I think that was included 2 wins against Villanova, 2 wins against, I think, North Dakota State. And they won one on Sunday against Troy, 3-1, with a Justice Perry home run in the 5th inning, I think.
Did y'all see Arkansas girl home run cycle?
For sure.
That was pretty awesome.
And think, man, Arkansas was the worst team in the league like 2 years ago, and now they're really good. It can turn around very quickly. Yeah. Anyway, what else we got to talk about here, fellas? We got any baseball news or football news, rather?
Let me give you a rundown of the guys that came in this past week.
Yeah. Okay.
Just real quick. So you had 2 running backs. You had Desmond Tisdale and probably the number 1 running back on the board in Tank Bigsby. Both of those guys came in. Had 2 5-star guys visit. Tight end Eric Gilbert. And Bryan and I talked about this before the show, but Miles Murphy, the defensive end from Georgia, came in, 5-star guy, visited Saturday. I think that was his 2nd visit at least. Got to watch out for her. Then you had the receivers. You had J.J. Evans. You had Kobe Hudson return to campus. You had E.J. Williams come in on Friday. Had 2 offensive linemen, Avery Jernigan and Trace Zimmerman, probably returning this next weekend. Eric Shaw from Notasulga, big 6'5", 220 guy, could play defensive end, tight end, maybe even wide receiver if you wanted him to. Then you had some underclassmen guys, 2021 guys, Dylan Brooks from Hanley in Roanoke, Alabama.
I saw that.
I think he's related to Jarris McIntyre. I think he's cousins or second cousins with Jarris.
Jarris posted something on Facebook about that.
Yeah, he's a defensive end, big guy, 6'5", 220, about 15 years old. But Auburn offered him. He grew up an Auburn fan. Definitely be one to watch in the coming year. Deion Smith, wide receiver from Mississippi, came over, got an offer. Andre Stewart, 2022 guy. So he's 14, 13. Came over, defensive back from Georgia, got an offer. And then Curtis Perry from Parks Crossing in Montgomery, a 2022 guy, defensive tackle. Came up Saturday. Auburn had offered him earlier in the week. And that was just some of the notable ones, but really good group of visitors the past week, and expecting some more this weekend, including a big-time wide receiver, Michael Wyman from North Carolina. He's going to come down this weekend. So a lot going on this spring for Auburn. Auburn's very good about getting guys in early to visit, and have been and will continue to do so.
I like the name Tank Bigsby. That's a good name.
Oh, Cartavius, I believe, is his name. Cartavius.
I like that. Miles Murphy, Bryan and I met him last summer, and wow, he's really something, man. He's got that Derek Brown air about him.
He does.
Or he's just more than a football player. Do you know what I mean?
I know, absolutely.
And he is kin to Dexter Murphy, who played at Auburn back, golly, the years get away from me, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. I think that's his cousin or uncle. I don't remember which. Anyway, we liked Dexter back in the day, so comes from a credible family for sure.
Was he a JUCO guy?
I don't think so. I also want to mention
I think he was one of those undersized guys when they signed him. And he just got bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. And I think he was from LaGrange.
Yeah.
I think so. Also, you mentioned a 22 kid from Park Crossing.
Right.
That's like my new house. We're right next to Park Crossing. I go over there and kick the soccer ball around. Yeah. So I feel like that's a local kid.
Dexter Murphy, hometown LaGrange, Georgia.
Hey, I think he was 91 too.
He was, and 6'2",
right?
240. He was 240 as an end, but then he moved inside, did he not?
Yeah, I believe, that's where I remember him playing inside. Yeah, so surely he wasn't 240 at that point.
No, he was 268 when he moved inside.
All right, that's still pretty small.
Still light, yeah.
But I mean, it was a different game back then, you know. I don't remember seeing guys like
2001.
All right, so we were right on. It was late 90s and early 2000s. I'm right on both counts.
Good.
Yeah,
Jay Ratliff, DeMarco McNeil, Reggie Torbor, Brett Edens, Dexter Murphy, Mark Brown, Carlos Dansby, DT. It was a good defense.
Yeah.
2003 team is what you're sounding like there.
2002 roster.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. No doubt. It's pretty good. Time for some shout-outs. B-Matt, I know you've got a couple. I hope that I don't overlap with you. What do you got?
Well, Tug Mac put up a post that he met a veteran, and that post caused a lot of consternation on the bunker.
It did.
People got kind of upset about it. There was a lot of give and take. But the bunker has this thing where somebody will put up this post, and then other people will create like another story surrounding that story, the original story. And sometimes these stories aren't quite true, but they are entertaining. And J. Olive SR, J. Olive Sr. maybe, he did one, and I think it's one of the best I've ever read. So, and I'll take out the F words in this post.
Thanks.
What a shitty blank day. So I decided to go to Longhorns to get some drinks and have a poor man's feast. Needless to say, I got a little too drunk. For some reason, the only thing I remember was lying on the ground and some blank weirdo started shaking me. As I came to, he advised me that I was drunk, and needed some help. I told him that I've struggled with PTSD after a couple tours and 9 years of service. Next thing I know, he is putting me in my vehicle, takes my keys, puts my seatbelt on, and calls the cops. When they get there, he proceeds to tell them that I was driving and trying to kill everyone on the road. So, of course, the cops put me in cuffs and take me away. As we pulled out, I saw the guy jumping up and down and fist pumping like he had just won the blanking war. Attorney Rex would be greatly appreciated. That's just beautiful.
Oh, my God. That's like exactly what Tug Mac said he had done to a veteran.
Yeah.
And justified it by saying I did the right thing.
And the replies to that post are just really good. I mean, Better Call Saul was a great first reply by Warrek. And the funny thing was, in that thread, it's still in the bunker, there's people that replied to that post thinking he was being for real. Like that he really got busted for DUI and needs some help.
Yeah.
So,
here, I got a lawyer for you. And you're like, okay, he's kidding. Was that your shout out, B-Matt?
That was it. Yes.
All right. I got a few here. Let's see. WDE12345 started a thread. If you're a male and you wear a necklace, you're a douche. No, nothing else. Nothing else added to that. Okay. Yeah, Les Waters said, I wonder what the men and women who wear dog tags think of this post. I hate to think that they will be the first to die to defend your right to call them a douche. That took a turn, didn't it? Cowardly Toaster said, let's hope your 56th post is a tad more cheerful. That was a reference to Les Waters. Kind of came out of nowhere on that one. AU Certified said, mine is hemp with a shark tooth and matches my anklet. I didn't knife kill the shark, but I saw someone get bit at SeaWorld in a tank where they can pet stingrays. It could have been me, so don't F with me. That was very bunkery there. R&M Tiger start the thread. Harper needs to take a seat. Body language is terrible. He plays like an entitled, whiny little bitch. Also, my son told me he falls asleep in class, doesn't bring his backpack, takes no notes, etc. He is trouble. Bruce needs to sit his ass.
Oh, come on. That's
AU Griff Kuh says, peers know a perpetrator when they see one. And DCH 1401 says, your son sounds soft AF. Gets it honestly, I see.
You're just asking for it.
DCHI also has Soda Popinski as his avatar, which reminds me of Punch Out back in the day, and it's a great avatar. So there were other great posts this weekend. Although Hooter80 will be disappointed to learn that I did not read every single post made on the bunker. He thinks that I guess the three of us plus Benny should read every single post that's ever posted at auburnsports.com and adjudicate each post, as if it needs to be addressed. Now, since we went to the new system, about 2 years ago, we've had 4.5 million individual posts. And it might be higher than that now. I haven't checked in a couple weeks. 4 million posts? Seriously? Every single one of them?
There's a reason we have a report button. And it's because we're not expected to.
Yeah, well, Hooter80 thinks you should be, Jay Lee.
Well,
I hate it when somebody says something dumb, and then we take action against them, and they say, well, this guy said that, and this guy said that, and this guy said that. I'm like, first of all, you're like the guy that sits out on the highway, not you, Jeffrey, but the Hooter80, with his radar gun, like getting plate numbers of people who are speeding so he can turn them into the cops. The cops aren't sitting there watching you speed every single minute of your life.
Thank God.
And it goes back to old dude that was calling us peas.
Yeah.
for letting the Bo Nix post. I didn't see it. Did he report it? No.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, guys, we try to read as much as we can, but we're not going to read every single post. We can't do it. We're doing other stuff too. Know. I think we're around the community a whole bunch, but some people don't think so.
Do you think Stretch deserves a shout out?
I'm going to give Stretch Armstrong a shout out. I banned him the other day as a joke, kind of, because his friends were kind of clamoring for him to be banned. It was playful and fun, and it was all just meant to be funny.
Dude.
And he
gone wrong.
He got a little upset, and so he got unbanned. Sometimes jokes can go astray, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
And he was instrumental in getting the bunker meetup put together last week in Homewood. You guys were missed.
Did you go?
Hell yeah, I go every time.
Damn.
I go up there and hung out, and Stretch put that thing together, and I hung out with a bunch of good bunker people. Most of them old, but some of them not old. Seaborn wasn't too old. Harvey Specter, AU Taxman, they're not old. But
Jason Seaborn?
It was son of Seaborn. Close.
I know, but didn't he play for the Giants?
Jason Seahorn? Yeah, he's married to that hot chick from SUV, yeah. Angie Harmon. Isn't that right?
Sounds good.
She's hot. All right, I'll tell you what else is hot. Voodoo Wing Company. Thank you for your support of the rundown and what we do here. They support us, so if you guys think that we do a good job or whatever, and you enjoy the bunker, you enjoy what we do here with these shows, go out there. First of all, you're going to be treating your taste buds, but also you're showing support for what we do here at auburnsports.com. And I know if you're a subscriber, you're definitely supporting what we do here at auburnsports.com. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys for being part of the site. Many of you have been with us since before Jeffrey Lee started as a pup, back when Bryan was just kind of getting involved. It's been a long time. Those two have been here so long and have built auburnsports.com to what it is today, and we thank you guys for standing behind them, for standing behind me, for standing behind the whole site all these years, because we could not do what we do without your support. If you're not a subscriber, you need to be. $8.25 a month on average. If you get the annual, get you access to all the stuff that Jeffrey's writing, Brian's writing, Benny's writing, whatever I'm doing, and also the greatest message board in the history of the internet. I would be remiss if I did not remind you that Lynch Toyota of Auburn also is a great place to buy new or used Toyota vehicles. I myself have bought one there, and Bryan is a Toyota enthusiast. Jeffrey Lee's actually a Toyota enthusiast.
I am heading to Lynch.
Attaboy.
I'm heading to Lynch in the next month or two. I'm getting me a pickup truck.
Got to get you a Tacoma or something like that.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
So Lynch Toyota of Auburn, the best GM in the business, Paul Brockwell, and he's got a great group of guys there that work with him and a few gals too. So check them out if you are in the market for that. We're going to wrap it up there, guys. We'll be back a little bit later in the week to either preview or review the game against Georgia. I don't know. What do you think, Brian? Do we need to do one in the morning? We'll just wait. Maybe we'll do one Wednesday or something. Until then,
I got to make my bold prediction about the game and then come back and apologize for whatever stupid thing I said.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that one. Until then, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
I'm done, son.
Oh, yeah.
37 minutes on the show, fellas.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. We didn't lose Bryan either.
Nice.
That was good.
Still here.
That was the first time you've gone down since you've been on Hardline, so I blame Charter.
I do too. Fuck Charter.
All right, how do you think it went? All right?
Mm-hmm.
Jay Lee got a bunch of dudes discussed, so that's good. When they end up being 5 stars later, we said, Jeff Lee brought that up on the show in February.
Right. That's right. Oh, Nostradamus. Damn.
Yeah? You have something you'd like to add?
Oh, no. I was noticing my computer is not plugged in, and it's down to about 15%.
Uh-oh. Now would be a good time to do that.
I will.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream now. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We talked a little bit before the show and just kind of cut up or whatever, but we're just going to wrap it up here. I'm going to put the show together, and then we'll have the podcast out around 10 a.m. For those of you who watch the stream, you're not going to be really surprised by that because you heard it. But for everybody else,
well, and there also, it is.
And this will this show will archive on YouTube if you want to rewatch it for whatever reason in about an hour. So appreciate you guys out there. War Eagle Bart is out here. JF, Chris Majors, JS, Torqued, War Eagle JF. Thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you.
See you guys
Bye.
next time. Peace.
Torque my jaw.